Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And today, get ready for some fun and heebie-jeebies for the final time, supposedly, if
Mm.
anything is to be believed, because we are here with the season 3 of the Cuphead Show, supposedly the last season, considering the order of episode is now complete. So I don't think there's any more after this, but I guess we'll talk about it more when we're done. So for now, though, Cuphead season 3. So to those who didn't catch our previous two episodes, then go listen to them. Like, come on, put us on the background as a background noise or whatever. But short
To be fair to
summary.
them, one of those episodes just got unprivated. I don't know how it got privated in the first place, but I
uh,
blame not me.
I blame the devil.
That works. We'll do that.
So in case you didn't have the chance to go back and listen to them, so season one I thought was an overall really good time, like just fun characters, fun stories, good, a good comfortable binge, you know, just a good time in general. Season two, while I didn't hate, I started noticing some crack in the steams, and
Mm.
it wasn't that much up to snuff. The first one was a bit repetitive, and I can officially say now that the entire show is over, had the worst episode in the entire show. Wolf, what do you quick sum up of your thoughts of the
I
of
mean,
the
I was the same way. Season one was a great start. It felt really fun. It was fairly enjoyable and just a good, like an hour and a half, 2 hours of your time about is somewhere where it kind of came up to because all
yeah,
these episodes are fairly short. Season
yeah.
two, a little bit more meh. I didn't enjoy it as much. It felt like it dragged on a little bit at parts, and like you said, it had one of definitely one of the least favorite episodes, I would say.
No, like it's the worst. It's the worst one. I'm Lost in the Woods is like the bottom of this show, if you ask me. No contest.
I mean, I don't disagree, but it was definitely for the bottom of the show. It wasn't terrible, right? But yeah, it's definitely very meh. But yeah, season two, yeah, you know, great start, kind of dipped a little bit, but overall still fun, still fairly enjoyable for the most part.
Mm. Now we are with season three, and if my opinion, honestly, probably the best season of the show.
Hmm.
Okay,
I don't know
explain
if
the.
I don't know if I enjoyed it more than season one, but it's definitely an improvement. They definitely brought it back up. This one didn't feel like it dragged on anywhere. It didn't feel like it kind of petered out halfway through. It felt like every episode was again like back towards that season one style, or back to this season one kind of where season one set the bar. Season three felt like, yeah, this is reaching that bar again at the very least.
Yeah, and something I will say this now that I have some time to actually think. I think season one is probably a better self-contained season,
Mm.
despite the cliffhanger. Season three is great, taking into account that you've seen the entire show, that you are, and obviously why would you watch season three if you haven't watched anything beforehand, right?
Mm.
But I think I call it my. I think I said this is my favorite one because everything just kind of lands into place by the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we've seen gets concluded. We get more, and honestly, we just get more of the devil this season, and that's like the best part about it.
Yeah, like it's definitely. I think he definitely stole the show somewhat this season. I feel.
As good hammy villains do most of the time.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like overall, great. I think great season. And if this really is the final one, the final season, it is, then I think Cuphead show went out with a bang.
Yeah, I would say this is a great season to end on.
And honestly, I'll even put aside, even though I know for some will say, oh, it's not a high bar, but considering some, some releases in the past few years, like, we have Arcane and, the Sonic movies and a lot of other stuff, but probably one of the best video game adaptations, like in terms of TV and movies.
I disagree. With that one, I'll very much disagree.
Mm.
Arcane
Okay,
exists.
I mentioned Arcane.
Okay.
Obviously, for the record, comparing Cuphead to Arcane is like comparing SpongeBob to what's a show that's in a similar event to Arcane. I don't have any example, but comparing Arcane to Cuphead is like, but okay, comparing Arcane to Cuphead is like comparing Arcane to SpongeBob. There's no connection, right? Two different genres. But in terms of video game adaptations, like if I needed to list to you a list of like good video game shows when people used to say it's not possible, I would mention Cuphead.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I think, I having seen it now, having seen all of it, if you're looking for like, if you're someone who's definitely of the opinion that video game adaptations just can't be done, I mean, absolutely, I think everyone's going to recommend you Arcane. That's probably going to be everyone's first go-to for quite some time, more than likely. But I would definitely point towards Cuphead as well, and a couple of others. But yeah, Cuphead's definitely on the list at this point. I think it's absolutely...
Actually, fun thing to mention, like they just released like the nominees for the video game like best adaptation. Both Arcane and Cuphead are listed.
Yes.
So, but they are nothing compared to the Goats Chug 2, the movie. But that's another story. So, before Wolf, something tells me Wolf did something to me, so I'm not gonna.
I've not done anything yet.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so I think good to kind of set up this and the non-spoiler section. Cuphead Show was a good time. Definitely did justice to the game. I guess the only thing that's left to say is what's next for Studio MDHL, who made the game. Like as someone who now played Cuphead, got through it somehow and everything. I hope that whatever they do next, when it comes to games, will get just as good an adaptation.
I have to point out though, you're talking about like the Video Game Awards and their best video game adaptation, and Cuphead and Arcane are on the list. But also Uncharted's on the list, so I feel like this list honestly, is maybe a little
Okay. Let's say that the only thing from that list I haven't seen is the Cyberpunk series, which is apparently better than the game. So
like also heard the same.
Yeah. So, but basically, obviously, putting the bias aside here. Like, putting the bias aside, right? Because I'll obviously say Sonic because Sonic's my favorite character, so obviously Sonic 2 talk to me the most. But putting that aside, Arcane is a great show. We talked about it. Go listen. Cuphead, we are talking about right now. Great show. Sonic 2, a lot of people kind of agree that forget my bias, okay? Put my bias on this. And you included, a lot of people just think it was a great movie and a great justice to the video game. So you have all of those. Again, I haven't seen Cyberpunk. I don't know. Maybe it's in the cinema. And then you have Uncharted, which you can listen to our podcast about it too. Is just kind of there in terms of like, if you have to ask me like what do I think about the Uncharted movie, I think I still kind of like I had fun, but it's not up to snuff. Like, if I have to tell you to introduce you to Uncharted, the movie's not gonna be that introduction. But I can tell you, watch Arcane, watch Cuphead, watch the Sonic movies as an introduction point.
At this point, we might have to do a video just covering all the video game awards and saying, hey, what do we think will win? And let's see how many we get right. Predictions here at the Outcast.
we can just talk about video game adaptations in general.
Might have to do that as well. But
yeah,
just I had to briefly mention it because Uncharted is on that list.
Yeah, well, I guess they needed a fifth one.
I suppose. I feel like there's been other video game adaptations this year, but maybe I'm wrong.
I maybe The Witcher, but honestly, season 2 kind of sucked. So
I feel like season 2 is better than Uncharted, the movie, though. And I have to admit, I had fun with that movie, but I don't think it was because the movie was good. I think some of that, though, had to deal with just the two main characters the two main actors playing off of one another. They didn't really make for a good Nate or Sully, but they had some good back and forth that I enjoyed. Kind of.
Fuck Mark Wahlberg in that role. That's what I'm gonna say. Go listen to that episode. Back to Cuphead.
Yes.
Back to fucking Cuphead. So, back to fucking Cuphead sounds awful. I'm so sorry.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I'm taking the blame. So, spoilers for Cuphead Season 3 are starting now. If you haven't seen this season for whatever reason, go watch it and then come back. Spoilers starting 3, 2, 1. You're still here? Good. So, anyway, episode 1 is The Devil's Revenge, which is basically a part 2 for the season 2 finale. And I kind of expected the Cuphead to free Mugman in the opening episode as well, because it's kind of reminiscent of what happened at the end of season 1, where Cuphead and Mugman were in jail. And then the episode 2, the season 2 started, they broke out. So I figured that's what. Eventually, I just gonna figure that he's gonna free Mugman in the first episode. But I'll say the aftermath of it, like actually seeing him go home, being all depressed and stuff, and then Adol Kettle is like, "Oh, it's not like you lost Mugman," and it breaks him. I thought it was great. I thought it was really funny. Tragic, but funny. You agree? Good. But then I think the unsung star of this episode is the guy that's hung next to Mugman in hell. And whenever he's talking to it, just goes,
I love how the mic cut out. Yes. There's a dude down there that screams whenever Mugman talks to him.
Yeah, he's the unsung hero of this episode. And honestly, I just kind of enjoyed the fact that for the first time, the devil is actually sure that he can break Mugman because he's the conscious one. And he actually but Mugman doesn't break because in somewhere he knows that Cuphead is gonna save him.
I personally enjoyed this one simply for the joke of, hey, Cuphead died, and Mugman's like, oh, so he's here then? Like, no, he's up there, and Mugman's just like, yeah, no, he's not, and we both know it. He would definitely be down here if he's dead.
Yeah, but that's the point though, that I like the fact that Mugman is so confident that when the devil tries to break him, he fails with everything he does because Mugman is too smart for the shit. And at this point, and I like also that for the first time, Henchman kind of talks back to the devil, and they start having a bet regarding if the devil will manage to break Mugman or not. And turns out the fork, the devil's pitchfork came with a spoon. Good to know. And then like when Cuphead actually manages to get to hell, he actually, there's this entire fun chase scene and everything. It's just a fun episode. Also, Elder Cattle knows nothing about it. Maybe for the better.
Probably.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is that something. If this was like in the real world, this guy would have those kids taken away from him like a long time ago.
Good thing it's not then. But yeah, this was a good returning episode, I would say. A good fun start to start off the season with.
Yeah, like it solved the cliffhanger that we were left with, and it also gives us, just you know, just a very fun, just a fun return to form.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Also, of course, the first thing they do right after they're out of it, um, Cuphead goes to play the soul ball again from the first episode. Like, for the love of God, dude.
He can't help himself, as we see in the
Yeah,
finale of this season.
but we'll get there. So now, because episode 2 is don't answer the door. What a weird thing to bring back, that baby from season 1.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing to bring back, but at the same time, they did something clever with it. That it's not about them taking care of the baby, it's about them not wanting to let the baby in. And because now they know that the baby is a freaking murderer.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy this one as much. It felt kind of meh, especially after the first episode of this season. I don't know, like this
Yeah,
one
it's
just felt
not.
kind of like there's a little bit of fun stuff here, but it mostly was kind of
Yeah, I think I agree with you that it felt, it's like, okay, you have a good idea here, you have a good premise, but at some point it's like, okay, we get the joke. Let's move on.
pretty much.
Mm. But at the same time, I won't say it was a waste of my time. It
No,
was a fun
it
one,
didn't
and
feel.
there's this entire thing. There's this bear, that just walks in, tucks them in the house and everything, and then the baby just beats up the bear. Like, between the premise and this part, the episode is just kind of a repeat.
I
We could move this along,
I do
but
like how you never get to actually see baby. I did find it a little funny that you never actually get to see Baby Bottle in this one, not once, other than like the
yeah.
one little flashback, and that's it.
Hmm.
I think they played it very well.
Um,
It just wasn't something that I enjoyed personally. Like, to be clear.
yeah, I think, again, it's one of those. It's all right. Nothing, good premise, good start, good ending, middle. We've seen this before.
Mhm.
Nothing too special.
Fair.
Now we have episode 3, cup staged.
This one was fun. Like, again, more devil. That's
Yeah,
great, and it's also we get to see Cuphead and the devil kind of working together to sabotage Mugman and trying to sabotage
yeah.
each other as well. Like, this one was fun, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
like I like this one because, for one, considering it's an audition, as a film major, I had to hold the audition. So just the premise of like three people trying to screw each other over to get a part is ridiculous to me. I love it, but also the fact that you have Cuphead, who usually tries who usually tries to, like, be there for Mugman. He usually, even if he doesn't do what he tries to do the best for him, and then he just like, what, I'm gonna team up with the devil to fuck over my brother. Okay, sounds about right. sounds about right. But they play it for laughs. They're just trying to have fun with it. But I just the fact that Mugman doesn't only has stage fright, but he also has backstage fright.
Yeah, that one
He's
got me to
not
laugh a
only
little bit.
he's not only afraid of the people watching him on stage, he's also afraid of all the tech crew behind the stage.
I enjoyed that joke. That was a good joke. Like, just seeing him there off to the side, just frozen, as Cuphead says, "Oh no, I'm not like the backstage hand. I'm the assistant backstage hand. I wasn't supposed to be here, but he kind of failed at the job, so now I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, like I said, this was a fun episode. Like, just them trying to audition for the part and all trying to sabotage one another to get it. Yeah, just fun.
And again, I think I just want to point out, because we are kind of rushing through these episodes. We're about to talk about episode 4 now. Because we don't talk a lot about the episode doesn't mean we don't like. I just said I think it's a strong season, but there isn't a lot to say
Well, you do have to
when
remember,
it's
right?
just
Like each of these episodes are about what 12 minutes long at most. Some of
the
them,
first episode and the first episode, and I think the Christmas special that we will get to, because a friend of mine will kill me if we won't. But so those are
well,
the two like half hours.
yeah, like the 11th episode of this season is about 20 minutes, one of the longer episodes, and then episode 6 is I think the longest. Yeah, it's the longest episode in the series
Yeah,
at 30 minutes long.
yeah. hmm Which says something, but yeah. So we don't have much to say in terms of like deep analysis or stuff. We're just talking about this show because it's fun,
Also, I think
and
it's a good idea not to spoil too many of the jokes in the show because it's something for
yeah,
you, the
because
audience, to go and watch now.
yeah, the reason this is a spoiler section is because if we do remember something that we want to talk about,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
now, so now I guess we are moving on to episode 4, Roadkill. Oh
More
boy,
stuff with the devil. This one was great.
yeah, like, and actually, I was thinking this might be your favorite episode because this is the closest to an Elder Kettle we have.
Yeah, I actually really like this one as well, especially just the joke of I thought it was hilarious seeing Elder Kettle run over the devil and think he actually killed him, and then him
Yeah,
mistaking the
because
devil for a cat as well.
when you think about it, Elder Kettle never actually saw the devil. He has no idea what he looks like. So for all he knows, he ran over a cat. That's perfectly plausible. So, but yeah, but I also enjoy the devil just being a cat, and he actually thinks he's a cat. It's not an act to like harm Elder Kettle or get to Cuphead through this. He literally thinks he's a cat for the majority of the episode, and
For,
then when he comes back, he still plays, with a softball. That's great.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was a fun episode. This one, like I enjoyed. He was going after Cuphead Soul, but decided to go after Elder Kettles when he couldn't get Cupheads, and then Elder Kettle's like, "Oh, I love my new cat," and he's like, "Fine, I actually like him a little bit. I won't take his soul," and
Yeah,
then Still's
and because
telephone soul again.
yeah, that fucking telephone, like it's. Who would have thought a telephone would be a tragic character in a Netflix cartoon?
Poor Mr. Telephone.
Yeah, at least I assume he's okay by the end. I assume, right?
Eh,
Uh, it just goes to show people telephones have no souls. The movie Hell lied to you, but regardless. I'm trying to think if there's anything to really. Okay, I think he's just shows up in this episode, and every time he showed up in this season, I just went, "Oh, come on!" Like this Strickler character. I don't know who in the writing staff just has this person in their life that they just hate and they want to avoid. It kind of tells them, well, actually, about everything they do. But I think they put all of them into this one character. And I kind of love it for the wrong reasons.
no, it's great. He's a great character. He
Mhm.
is most definitely the
But like,
embodiment of well, actually, and that's great.
yeah,
It's fun.
and the fact that he's also the well actually person for the devil. Like even the devil has a well actually character. That makes it all even more hilarious.
Well, it's
But yeah,
also
you know what?
I love a joke they do with it in the Christmas special as well, but we'll get there since that's episode 6.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was well good. Like honestly, fun episode, especially because you get to see the devil being a cat.
And it's the
That
first
was
time you get
sometimes
to see the devil and Elder Kettle together as well, which is weird.
yeah. So yeah, I think if I have like one nitpick is that I would have loved to see Cuphead and Mugman's reaction to Elder Kettle actually pretending the devil is a cat, but we don't get that. But
Oh, we do a little bit. We get to see them laugh
not,
at the devil pretending to be a cat.
yeah, right. They do. We get to see them laugh about it, but it's just like a quick gag. I like actually seeing them fucking with him would be funny, But
Mm.
well, take what you can get.
Yeah, no, fair.
So anyway, now we have episode 5, Holiday Tree Edition. This is not an awful pun by me. This is how the episode is called.
It's also I guess technically part 1 because it's a little bit connected, but not really.
Yeah,
Of our Christmas special.
Yeah,
because we're close to Christmas apparently.
I mean, it's the closest we're gonna get, right?
For Cuphead, for when it releases. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
This is another one where it's okay. Like I think it's better than Don't Answer the Door, but it was definitely one of those. I could take it or leave it episodes. Personally,
I will take it or leave it, but I also say that I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the ending because the tree they end up bring to El Cattle is like completely ruined. Like it has no leaves, it has not. It's just a bare tree. But he does tell them, you know what? It's all tree. It's part of. It's a different take about the entire Christmas thing. That it's like, oh, what doesn't matter if you don't have the presents or the fancy lighting of it. What matters is that we have each other. I kind of like this twist that because Christmas is so recognized with that tree,
Mm.
when you think Christmas, you are just associating that tree with that holiday, and the gifts being under it and everything. So I like this new take of what, it doesn't matter what tree you have, as long as you have a tree and we are together. That's nice one.
Yeah, that's fair. and I think for me the best part about this episode was probably Pork Rind and Mugman trying to haggle with him and just failing miserably. That was quite fun. I enjoyed that. But other than that, it was an okay episode.
Actually, I really enjoyed Pork Rind when in the 2 times we see him this season. That is cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Now, so I guess no reason to prolong the actual Christmas special that comes right after, and honestly, might be one of the best Christmas specials I've seen, like in recent memory, because it's the most original for sure. You gotta give it that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was definitely. I don't know if it was my favorite episode this season, but it's definitely a very good. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think it's a very good Christmas special sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So for one, the entire episode is about the devil. Already big plus. Two, there's this fact that just the devil really wants this train, or the choo-choo as he calls it, and he wants it from Santa. And there's a point where and I was watching this with my friend Jaya. She's been on the Outcast to those who listen, but she kept telling me it's the devil. He could just make himself a choo-choo, and the episode does call him out for it. That you could just get one yourself. You're the devil. But he just has this moment where he says, "It's not that." He wants it from Santa for the principle and the principle alone.
Oh, yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same as getting it as a present.
Exactly. That kind of, I feel like it's one of those, they literally get this out there in a sentence, and it literally fixes the one thing which could have broken this entire episode of why can't the devil just get him? You get this, it's the principle of the thing. He wanted for the principle of getting a gift. Not that he couldn't get it himself. He wants the pleasure of knowing I was gifted something. So, and I
gotta say though,
this motivation.
Hated that transformation into Santa for the devil. That looked awful.
Or like that transformation itself, or like
The
him,
transformation itself.
Mhm.
That was just, ugh, didn't like watching that. I guess they
Yeah,
animated it well, but didn't like watching that at all.
yeah, I know. Just because something is well animated doesn't mean it's not disturbing. See every Resident Evil game since Resident Evil 7 to understand what I mean with that.
Fair, fair. I also, we got the joke this particular episode of Santa has one too, that being a Strickler.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually quite funny.
Yes,
That one caught me off
yeah,
guard a little bit. I'll admit that one made me laugh.
Yeah, Strickler will never go away.
Just seeing the devil and his henchmen go, Santa has one too.
Yeah,
I very much
but
enjoyed
not
that.
yeah, but then so as Wolf said earlier, the devil turns into Santa,
Yes.
and
Also enjoyed the little ritual they did, like the cultish ritual to turn the devil into Santa.
yeah.
That one also caught me off guard.
Yeah, that was great too. And then, so now the devil is Santa, and that means he has to do a good deed in order to get what he wants, in order to get that gift.
Yeah, he has
And
to
that's
pretend to
something,
be Santa for the evening and deliver all the presents to the kids on the nice list before midnight.
and also drink all the milk and cookies they provide for
Yeah,
him.
a
Which
weird stipulation.
a weird stipulation, but it seems like for the devil, this ends up being the hardest part about the whole thing, because at some point he just can't take it.
I mean, that's a lot of milk and cookies.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't
you
know how
think the
Santa
devil
does it
doesn't.
either.
Yeah, but you think the devil doesn't really have to worry about diabetes or all of that stuff.
Everyone has to worry about diabetes, HC.
Okay, I'll shut up. Like, what? How am I supposed to argue that? You got me there. I don't have anything to say. So, um, so anyway, he goes. So he goes about this entire thing. Henchman being the reindeer. Like, you gotta love Henchman. Henchman is
Yeah,
adorable.
yeah, he's great. I loved him scaring the devil scaring off the reindeer because he was too frightening and decides, oh, you
Yeah,
can be the reindeer now.
yeah.
No,
But then the entire time I'm watching this with Jaya, we just keep saying the last house is Cuphead. The last house is Cuphead. The
Yeah,
last
you knew it
house
was
is
coming.
Cuphead. Yeah, I think everyone in their grandma knew that the last house was gonna be Cuphead. There was no way around this,
Mhm.
right? It had to be Cuphead.
But
Well,
it turned out it was actually a really cool moment. It was actually a really fun moment, a good moment even.
yeah, yeah, it was
The devil
actually,
did something nice.
yeah, because turns out Cuphead's present was a train, the same train he wanted, and he could have just taken it and nobody would have batted an eye. But then Cuphead is actually awake because he wanted to see Santa and he wanted to tell Santa thank you. And it's such a heartfelt moment. Again, it kind of nailed that feeling of a Christmas special, that even if it's cheesy, even if it's the all mushy, feel good kind of stuff, they like stuck the landing on that
Mhm.
one thing. You get what I mean?
No, I agree.
They
Yeah.
like it's really nice, it's really fun, and it's really just to see these two mortal enemies just kind of hug it out. And, the devil knows it's Cuphead, but Cuphead doesn't know it's the devil. He thinks it's Santa, and the devil actually lets him have that pleasure, have that experience of meeting Santa. And then and you can tell that there's also because he also gives up the train, like he doesn't see any benefit from it. The devil literally did something nice to happen.
Hmm.
And then he comes back to the North Pole. Santa tells him, congratulations, you did it. Now you get your present. The feeling of doing something nice.
Oh, they also stuck the landing on this one too. They did this one really good because the devil just getting pissed.
Yeah. So and yeah, this just like when this happened, I almost fell off my chair. It was delivered so
Mhm.
well. And the devil's reaction just sold it. It was wonderful. And then Hunchman does the very nice thing of getting him the train.
Yeah, that was a sweet little thing. Like again, henchman is too good for this world.
Hmm. You know, I wish you would have found a better employee than the devil, but what can you do sometimes?
You get what you get, I guess, at times. But
Yeah.
I again, like I think this comes back to, and I don't know if we've mentioned it enough, but I believe his name is Luke Millington Drake. Let me check it, make sure. Yeah, Luke Millington Drake is, I believe, the person who plays the devil in Cuphead.
Yeah.
He does so
Hmm.
great with this character because a
No,
lot of the
he
delivery in
does
this
great.
episode, I think, really cinches it, right?
Definitely. Like you can tell that he's trying to do like a Tim Carey kind of voice, and obviously not all the way, but like
Mhm.
there are Tim Carey vibes for it, and it works super well. That you can get Tim Carey, but he's also making it his own.
Mhm.
And you know, if Jaya is to be believed, he's also hot. I don't know, but all right. Okay. Anywho, so now for moving on to episode, where are we at? We are
Seven.
at 7, right? Special delivery. Okay. I
Looking him
think
up,
this.
Luke Millington Drake. Yeah, he's a pretty good looking dude, not gonna lie.
Okay. I'll look it up later. Um. Anywho, so now we are at episode 7. What? What's
Nothing,
funny to
nothing,
you
nothing.
about it?
Special episode
Oh,
7, special delivery. More
I
pork
think this is
rind.
my
This is good.
favorite. I think this is my favorite pork rind episode, just because he finally shows that he cares for someone, and he even takes the blow, quite literally, for Cuphead
he
and
still
Mugman.
he still hates the kids though.
Yeah, and also, what a random idea to just drop us. Oh, hey, Miss Chalice, you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird because this is supposed to be the setup for like the last three-ish
Yeah,
episodes
the
of
thing, and
the
suddenly it's like,
season,
all right, Chalice is here. Forget about her for a second.
because the setup is in the last, like, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds of the show. You see that
Of the
apparently the
episode.
devil of the episode, yeah, you see that the devil knows Miss Chalice.
Yeah, and honestly, it's what happens in the episode itself is also pretty fun. That they are trying to make this delivery as like as like a bunch of as as different people in costumes and stuff. And for some reason, Cuphead is the logical one.
Yeah.
Like I think the scripts got changed, and they're like, hey, you know what? Let's go with it. It's
Yeah,
because
they definitely change up the script on this one a little bit because Mugman is the one who's being a little goofy and odd and over the top.
Yeah, like Cuphead and Chalice are actually actually make a better team here, but oh well. Maybe Mugman went crazy when he was in hell.
I
But
guess Mugman really gets into character because again they're
mhm,
pretending to be other people as they make the delivery, because they're making the
yeah,
delivery to, I believe, Ribby and Croaks, who apparently still hate them,
mhm,
and it's cool to get to
yeah,
see the
and
Frog Brothers
uh,
again.
yeah, and I like the fact that they actually deliver it and they realize what it is. They realize it's a bomb, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's that. We actually ordered that bomb. They actually wanted to get." But I'm
Yeah,
like,
like
"Hey, you
Croaks
know
was
what?
trying
We're
to
not."
off his brother after his brother tried to off him, and
Yeah,
apparently that's their thing. That was also a good joke.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. But then they're also like, "Yeah, you delivered to us, but we don't want to have it. Like, we don't accept. Take it back." It's like, oh, okay. That was really funny. And then Pokemon is actually getting worried about the kids and stuff, and then they just walk in, leave it there, kaboom.
Hmm.
I guess this is what they mean when they say that business is booming. But all right.
Terrible
Ah,
joke.
you chuckled. You chuckled. It's recorded.
That was a
You
pity
chuckled.
chuckle.
Whatever. So what you're saying is, I like your joke. It's not funny, but that's why I laughed. It's a quote.
I'm not giving you the dignity of a response.
Okay. But and then just I don't know, it sounded like, oh, the devil knows Miss Chalice.
Yeah, that felt
Okay.
like a little tacked on to this episode, I'll be honest.
I guess because we never really established a connection. And for the record, to those who don't know, you know, the devil and Miss Chalice don't have any connection in the game. Like Miss Chalice is connected to the villain of the DLC, Chef Salt Baker, who is not in this show. Not I'm not against the change or anything. I just think it wasn't foreshadowed correctly, and it's like it just felt like, oh, he knows her, okay, but this is for later, because only later
I
episode
mean,
touches upon this.
we kind of get her whole story in episode 10.
Yeah,
But
we are getting
by
there.
then it feels like a little too late. It feels very out of nowhere, or at least if you've only watched the show and never played any of the games. But even then, there's no connection to the games either. It just feels a little, okay, interesting. I guess we'll see where that goes. And then you get next episode, and I feel like next episode 8, shouldn't have been where it was. I think episode 8 should have been before episode 7, maybe, and then episode, like switch those two around, because I feel like episode 8 is just kind of another side story that just it interrupts like this essentially 4-parter, really.
So anywho, episode 8 though, despite the maybe different location you suggested, I really liked, because
oh no, episode 8's great. I really enjoyed it too,
because we have King Dice. He's back, and this season he gets 2 episodes instead of 1. I guess Wayne Brady was a bit more available this time. But yeah, so now we find out that after his show got canceled in season 1, and after the trauma he went through in season 2, he's just out. He's in the slumps. He hit rock bottom, and he's very depressed. So count on Cuphead to actually not only bring him back to the spotlight, but also completely fuck him over.
Gosh, that was such a hard twist at the end, where because the entire thing is like, as you said, King Dice is out. He's washed up, and Cuphead's like, hey, I'll be your manager and I'll bring you back into the spotlight, and does just that. And then at the very end, like, hey kid, he comes to Cuphead because he's gonna try and get Cuphead to sign a contract to sell his soul away, and Cuphead rips up the contract and says, you're out of the show business because singing's just not wanted anymore. We're all about the jokes now. Like, jeez.
Because for one, obviously it's a joke so that the devil won't have his soul.
Oh
right?
no, I know it's a great joke, but it's just they cut him hard.
But not only that, but it's also like, it's only like, fuck, Cuphead, somebody grew between seasons. Like, somebody had a character grown off screen. Like, wow. Because, wow. And just the spot, I was in tears when that happened. It's so good. But then also, but regarding King Dice, I think, again, it's nice that they actually let him sing a bit more. And that he actually, tries to, obviously, he's grateful for Cuphead, but he also wants the approval of the devil again, so he tries to take his. But I also like that when he fails, after Cuphead, pulls the twist out of nowhere, the devil actually tells him, hey, you know what? Maybe I still have a job for you in the underworld. Maybe I could still. Maybe you're still useful for something. Like the devil still accepts him. Good for him. He found a new career down there. That's cool.
Even hell needs a little bit of pizzazz, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty rocking place when you really think about it. So of course, but eh, anywho, anything else to say about Down and Out? Because I just think really great episode. Really, we can move
No, I
on.
mean, I agree. It's a fun episode. I think it's oddly placed. It feels a little weird to go from the ending of episode 7 and then we just get this and it's kind of nothing and we're moving on from that and then we get back into what episode 7 was leading to.
Because episode 9, goes back to the entire Chalice thing. You're right. I don't get it too. But anyway, episode 9, Joyride.
Yeah, Miss Chalice takes over Elder Kettle.
I totally knew this wasn't Elder Kettle.
Yeah.
It was.
It felt a little weird at first, and then it's like, okay, yeah, no, definitely something is off here.
Yep. But it was, honestly, this is the one I remember the whole thing. I know, but there's this entire thing that Charles loses her luck, and then the devil, the episode ends with the devil. Hey, we need to chat in case we forgot something, and really just leads us to the next episode.
Yeah, pretty much. This is an in-between episode. I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of, there's nothing that stands out in this episode as really good jokes, I feel. It's not a bad episode in regards to that. It's just very, it's one of the weaker episodes of this season. That's not saying it's bad, again, to be clear. It's just, there's not a lot going on in this episode other than getting the characters to the place of, okay, Miss Chalice, here's a little hint from the devil, it's time to meet, and kind of getting us into, okay, here's what we've been leading up to, right?
Yes.
Which goes into episode 10. I think this one's a lot more memorable, which episode 10 is.
Yes, because now we have episode 10 where we actually get Charles's backstory in this show, which is different from the game, but holy shit, they made her tragic.
Yeah, I think it works really well though for the character, it does. Hey, she was an orphan and it sucked at the orphanage and she tried to get away and she did, and things were kind of going her way after she got away because she could dance and she was happy and she was stealing from a lot of people. And then while she's doing her big song and dance number, she gets hit by, a train or a tram.
A train, yeah. And then, she goes to the underworld, meets the devil, and the devil is like, you know what? And that's actually something that's interesting because now we know that Cuphead and Mugman didn't meet her by chance back in season 1. This was planned.
Well, I don't know if it was planned. It was partially by chance.
But what I mean is that it wasn't completely by chance.
Planned from the show. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so that's something I enjoyed, and we have and just it kind of go, and again it's a different take on, because in the game Chef Saul Baker kind of asks Cuphead and Mugman to collect ingredients for his, for the special cookie that will make Miss Chalice, who is a ghost, a physical being. And until then, either Cuphead or Mugman needs to eat a cookie so that they'll take her place as a spirit, and then she'll be in the real world. And then what happens at the end is that he's gonna hey, I'm just gonna take all of your souls, and then you have to fight it. So in a sense, it's kind of a different, that with the devil kind of owning her soul, and she's kind of hey, I'll do what you need as long as you get me back to life. And so again, not one-to-one like the game, but it's fun in its own way. It works.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it works for the show, right? Because I think it would have been a little weird to introduce this other villain besides the devil, who's also after souls and all of that, right? I think it works for the game because she was introduced in DLC that came after you defeated the devil, quote unquote. So
Yeah, exactly.
doing it
Like
here, I think focusing on the devil as the main villain is a better idea.
technically she is in the main game, but she's not like a character in. She's giving you extra power ups from optional challenges, but she's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's fair.
So, but yeah, but not a lot. Again, not a lot to say because it kind of leads us to the final episode.
Yeah, we get the ending of this episode where, she's forced to make to go to finish. She's forced to honor the favor that she owes the devil, which is betraying Cuphead and Mugman, because he knows that she's friends with them now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into episode 11 where we first start off where she's getting ready to betray them, and they like completely trust her, so they were going to sign the contract.
I want to point out that the name of the episode according to Wikipedia is the devil and Miss Chalice, but apparently in other regions it's actually called the Deal with the Devil, which is interesting because because the tagline for the main game is like Cuphead, don't deal with the devils. So I wonder why it's like original thing though. Like what causes the name changes across the seas? But oh well, whatever.
I guess just translation, like you can't translate directly in for certain words, I would assume.
I guess. Oh well, anywho. So now the final episode. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better show to end, but okay. Last few seconds of the episode aside, I think this was the best finale the show could have had. Like,
really, I'm curious. We'll get back to that last few seconds of the episode aside. We'll get back to that. But yeah, I agree. Like, it's a big dance It's a big dance off between the devil and Miss Chalice. To decide who's the greatest dancer.
King Dice is also orchestrating the band to give them the beat to dance to, which is great. And they're constantly trying to outdo each other with dancing, which is great.
Miss Chalice is winning until the marbles that Cuphead gave her as a present screws her over, and then Cuphead decides, "Hey, I'll make a deal with you instead, and we'll play for it all. You get all of our souls, or you get none of our souls if I win at a game of rock paper scissors." And apparently, Cuphead is just the luckiest person in the world, or the devil is truly terrible at rock paper scissors. I don't know which.
Again, I think if you really notice it, I think the secret to how Cuphead kept beating him is because the devil is making the first mistake of rock paper scissors. You never do the same. You never do the same hand. You never use whatever your opponent used last time to defeat you. Like if you choose scissors and your opponent chose a rock, you never pick rock for the next turn, like ever. This is exactly what the devil does. If you notice, like whatever Cuphead used to beat him, he does the same thing the next time. So either the devil just sucks at rock paper scissors, or
I do love though that every time the devil's like, all right, best 2 out of 3, all right, best 5 out of 6, all right, best on and on and on.
And the thing is that also that you see that Mugman is totally stressed when Cuphead proposes this idea, but then the more Cuphead beats him, like the Mugman is just done with this shit. He's like, hey, listen, we beat you, get the fuck out of here.
The devil's so sad too. Like, I lost.
Yeah, and again, I think this is like the best way you could, because in a sense, this is the big final fight, quote unquote.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because you also get to see all of the characters you've met before as well, kind of in the background. They have a little bit here or there, but it's mostly the background.
And the thing ends with the final fight, quote unquote, between the two of them. Well, Cuphead just keeps on winning and the devil retreats. Like, there's no other way this could have ended. And again, honestly, it's kind of impressive that despite the fact that it did grow a bit and stuff, Cuphead beat him with what he does best, which is being impulsive. We just went with it, and that's how he won. And not gonna lie, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, it's a great season finale, and if this is where the show is going to end, yeah, it's a great series finale as well. Now, what is your issue with the last couple of seconds? Because in the last couple of seconds, so people are aware, we see the devil has opened a casino, and Cuphead runs off to the casino, and Miss Chalice and Mugman have to chase after him. And I assume, if I'm not mistaken, this is like supposed to be leading into the game storyline and everything.
Basically, I think so. For one, let's get this out of the way. We'll probably talk about it, but there's no fourth season. And for what I've seen from like research and stuff, the crew behind the show kind of went in knowing this is the last we're doing. This is the last episode. Like if Netflix changes its mind, then we'll probably see it again. But for now, the Cuphead Show is done. So on the one hand, I do like that there is a twist, and because the plot in itself, the plot the show started with, is done. Because Cuphead beat the devil officially. There's nothing else to do with it. The devil wanted Cuphead's soul. He lost it one too many times. So I have a love-hate relationship with this ending because for one, in a sense, it once again brings us full circle because how did the show start with Cuphead wandering into the carnival, playing the soul ball, and you know how this goes, and you know where this went.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, I kind of like that in terms of like, something never changed, everything came full circle, nice.
I mean, it does go back to a later complaint we had of this show, never really, of always going back to the well, right? Of always going back in that circle of we learn something and then we unlearn it, right? But we also talked about how that is the show, right? Like it's always going to go back to the status quo of we've learned something.
I don't have a problem with that. That's not my problem. My kind of issue, sort of, because I do kind of like it that, when the show started, it was a carnival. Now it's a casino. So if we're going to end it, might as well end it with like the visual people know from the game with Cuphead and Mugman going to the Devil's Casino. On the one hand, fine. But on the same time, it feels like an unnecessary cliffhanger tease when they know they are not necessarily going to deliver on it. Because you realize now people would want a season 4, which is following the plot of the game, and you can't really do that.
I guess. I mean, to me, it felt like, all right, that's just them saying, hey, this is where the game comes in, and we lead into the game now. Go play it, have fun.
But that's the thing. They can't really lead into the game because in the game it's implied that Cuphead and Mugman never met the devil or King Dice or any of those people.
Shrug details. Shrug.
I mean, yeah, you can shrug it up as you can say.
I will admit though, like seeing that, and I had no idea that this was the last season. Right? I had no idea. I figured, I assumed there might have been a season 4. Seeing that, I was like, okay, that's how they're going to lead into season 4. Fair enough, But knowing that they're not, I'm not disappointed in it. It doesn't bother me per se. It's just kind of.
That's why I'm saying I have a love-hate relationship with it because it doesn't bother me or something, but it's also you realize that you're kind of promising something that you're never going to get.
It was I think it's one of those things of it's a couple of seconds. It's not a very long little ending sequence, right? And we could have done without it. We didn't need it to be that.
Yeah. But again, it's harmless. Like it's it's fun in its own way, but it's just I just think God, if only what's the word I'm looking for? Like you need to think the implications through because now people are gonna be like, oh my God, season 4 is not happening now. If at all.
That's fair.
But
Okay. Speaking of a season 4,
anyway,
would you
yeah,
want a season 4, or are you happy to see it end with this?
I'll tell you what. I I think if we are gonna do a season four, then maybe not necessarily make it a season four. Like, how would I say? Okay, maybe the best way I can describe it, like, if those 3 seasons were like the riders and defenders bulk, then season four would have to be a race to the edge. You get what I mean?
That's fair.
Like, because if you are gonna actually do an adaptation of the game, right? Obviously, they're gonna have to make changes. If we are actually leading into, let's do the plot of the Cuphead game, Cuphead Mugman and I assume Chalice now are gonna go around the Inkwell Isles, taking souls from people, being the devil's master and taking souls. Then the show is gonna has to go through a bit of a rebranding. Like, keep the voice actors, keep the crew, keep everything, but you're no longer making like a slice of life comedy SpongeBob SquarePants. You are now doing something that's a bit more, maybe a weird comparison, but a bit more Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's gonna be continuity. There's gonna be lessons. Characters are gonna grow. There's gonna be changes here. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think maybe that's something they can't necessarily do. So maybe it's best that they don't do that, right?
I'm not.
Well, I mean, do you
You
think
say
they
that,
could?
but like, I guess they could. It just depends. Honestly, at this point, it kind of depends on what the creators of the show want to do, and if
Fair.
Netflix would give them the okay.
Personally, I'm
Because
not sure the show could make that transition though.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a big transition. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be an easy, but I think if we're gonna do the game, then it's gonna need to make that transition. But
That's
another
fair.
thing I want to point out is I'm not sure how much. I know that Studio IMDH are the people behind the game, and I think
Hmm.
the especially the people who had the idea for the game in the first place and stuff. They are involved with the show. They are producing it. They are involved in the writing, as far as I'm aware. They are like in the show. They made the show.
Hmm.
So I think something tells me, because someone asked them once, and apparently now that the Cuphead DLC is complete, their next game is going to be something different. Like, they want to move on from Cuphead. It's gonna be in
Hmm.
the same animation style and everything, but they're gonna move on to, it's gonna be a different IP,
Hmm.
according to them. So I think if they have any say in it, even if Netflix come to them and say, "Hey, listen, we need a season four," I think maybe they'll just kind of want to move ahead from Cuphead. I could be wrong, right? I'm not saying that that they're gonna do this, but I'm feeling they kind of want to move on to whatever their next project is gonna be, instead of focusing on Cuphead more.
That's fair. Again, and I think that's fair. I feel from everything I know of Cuphead, it's kind of like, sure, maybe there's more you could do with it, but I think it's served its purpose. It did well, and I would love to see them move on and try other stuff as well, and see what else they can come up with, especially in this style, because I don't think anyone would disagree. The animation style they've done is very good, and they've done
No,
exceptionally
okay.
well at capturing that old animated style, right, and doing it really
Yeah.
well in a more modern take.
And I am totally afraid, though, that the game is gonna, whatever the next game is, it's gonna take another 5 years. But I'm wishing them all the best
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
what they're gonna do. But again, I think if we're going to see more animated Netflix shows from these people, I think Cuphead is done for a long while. Maybe they're gonna surprise us. I'm not sure,
Hmm.
because, for the record, the Cuphead games have done very well. Like,
Hmm.
and the DLC also sold a lot. And now also, in case you didn't know, the Cuphead game with the DLC has been released in a physical form, not too long ago.
Hmm.
So obviously that's more money being made. So, you say what you want. Cuphead brings them greens. Maybe if the game continues to do well and stuff, then hopefully they'll have more manpower to do more games, and especially something with Cuphead. When you have the animations made already and stuff, maybe you could have a team just doing the developing new game, and while the other team actually works on the other animations for whatever they're cooking up next. So whether or not Cuphead is gone or not, I have no idea. But if this is the end of the Cuphead show and like they want to move on to a different IP, then you know what? Cuphead did well.
I agree. That's fair.
Yeah. Anything else to say? Or
No, I
shall
mean,
we
like you
close?
said, I'm interested. No matter how long it takes, I'm very interested. I wish them all the best of luck because, irregardless of whether you think the Cuphead show itself was amazing, I definitely think it was. I don't necessarily think it's amazing, but I definitely think it was enjoyable and I had fun with it. So I'm curious to see where they go from here, and I wish them the best of luck in whatever they do next because I think it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
and indeed, and Studio MDHR, on the very off chance you're listening to this, please ease up on the difficulty of the next game. And don't get me wrong, Cuphead was satisfying as hell, but at the same time, my
Or don't.
fingers hurt.
Or don't. Kill HC's fingers. HC doesn't need them.
I do actually. I have things I need to do with them. Thank you.
Details.
Whatever. Anyway, I think that's all. That's all for this episode of the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed. What are your thoughts on the Cuphead show? What would you like to see for a theoretical fourth season? Are you happy with how this series ended? And what are your thoughts on the next on Cuphead's future in any kind of entertainment medium? You can tell us all about that in the comment section below, on our Twitter, where we are Berkcast with capital B, capital C, and on Tumblr, where it's Berkcast team. So until next time, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.